Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, French police issue a warning about a significant jump in the number of teenage prostitutes, say the numbers have increased by as much as 70% in the last 5 years. Also, how in the face of ongoing repression by the Taliban, more and more Afghan women are converting their frustration into creativity, using art as a silent but powerful form of resistance. And we meet Sophie Adenot, the second French female astronaut who's set to blast off into space next year and is in the midst of a rigorous training program. But we begin here in France, where police are sounding alarm bells over the rise in the number of underage girl prostitutes. Some 10,000 young girls are thought to be affected, with some being as young as 12. In many cases, they are recruited by men or boys whom they know and who sell the girls to a clientele acting with impunity. Antonia Kerrigan has the story.
Alice was not yet 18 when she entered the world of prostitution.
I thought at the time I was just making money and that maybe one day I'd be okay. But I was completely wrong. The body doesn't accept this. I felt dirty. I don't feel proud of myself. I feel completely hollowed out, withered, dead.
Exploited by pimps, more and more young people are selling their bodies. French police released figures last month. Compared with 21 cases of underage prostitution in 2015, they handled a whopping 226 cases nationwide in 2024. Police observed that the young people in question came from all different socio-economic backgrounds and were getting younger, some only 12 years old.
The only thing they all have in common is childhood trauma from our first meetings with their families. When we talk about their formative years, there has always been a sexual assault or non-consensual relations or bullying at school.
These cases are more common in urban areas around Paris and Marseille, but also extend into rural France. The pimps, too, are often underaged. In many cases, small-time drug dealers turning their hand to what they see as a less risky business. And they often know their victims.
It's a lucrative business, less risky vis-à-vis their criminal rivals, and it used to be less severely punished by the justice system.
More than 10,000 French minors are thought to have been recruited for prostitution in France, now rivaling the international sex trafficking trade.
To Afghanistan now, where the Taliban continues its exceedingly harsh repression of women and girls. Girls are banned from school after the age of 12, while women are banned from working in most sectors of society. As a result, an increasing number are now channeling their frustration into creativity, using art as a silent but powerful form of resistance, as our team on the ground report.
In the streets of Kabul, Yelda hastily takes a photo of a model. What she is doing is against the law under the Taliban regime. We have changed this young woman's name to protect her identity.
I usually take pictures to document the situation in Afghanistan. And my photos deal with the living conditions of women and girls in Afghanistan.
Like more than 2 million Afghan women, 18-year-old Yelda is deprived of formal education. She hoped to become a businesswoman, but had to give up. She then discovered a passion for photography after the Taliban seized power and is self-taught.
Since the Taliban took power in Afghanistan, there's been no education for women. They also banned photography, so I took online courses. I looked for a photographer who could teach me and help me understand the basics. I started watching YouTube videos and looking at photos of famous photographers, which helped me learn at home.
Yelda does not hide her ambitions, even if she knows that the path will be difficult in the country run by Taliban.
I want to become a world-renowned photographer and continue learning even more. My goal is to tell stories and show the truth through my photos, what no one can see in this society, from the beauty of people to their struggles and dreams. But the Taliban has banned photography, which is considered haram, and if you practice it, it's a crime.
Less than a year ago, the Taliban banned images of living things in several provinces. But some places like this mixed art gallery and school, which has been here for almost a decade, are allowed to remain open.
You can see the lines here. Look, this area looks discolored, and the lines look a little dry and rough.
This young woman has been coming here to learn to paint for a year.
When I come here, I feel at home. I paint every day. It has changed my life. It brings me a lot of happiness and hope. When I paint, I feel free and able to do whatever I want. If I didn't paint, I don't think I would be alive.
Reza Madawi has 250 students. There are twice as many girls as before the Taliban came to power.
We don't have schools or universities for girls. They can't work. There are galleries where they can come and learn something. Some girls are very interested in art, but others not at all. They come to pass the time or because their family pushes them to come here. Art is very important for women in Afghanistan because it brings their lives some happiness and hope.
Hamida works as a clothing designer and also trains dozens of young girls in the trade. She has discovered far more than just a livelihood, but also a hope for the future.
You need to put beads on this garment, 3 lines. One here, and one here. Once you have finished this shirt, you can start working on the next one.
Hamida said she felt helpless before taking back control of her life.
If I didn't have this creative outlet, I would be like those women who have to stay home and do household chores. When the Taliban took power, I was plunged into darkness. I felt like all my dreams and desires had been destroyed and that I had no control over my life. Then I realized that if I didn't do something, it would be like giving up on myself.
According to a recent UN report, nearly 1/3 of Afghan women suffer from depression or anxiety due to restrictions and pressures from the Taliban. Some have found freedom in their art, and others have found it in poetry. Anusha has been able to keep her job as a primary school teacher, but poetry helps to keep her spirits up.
Writing is like breathing for me. It makes me feel good. It allows me to keep my feelings alive. It soothes me. It's one of the best things in my life.
For Afghan women, art is a daily act of hope as they await the restoration of their fundamental rights by the Taliban regime.
Now, next year, French astronaut Sophie Adenot is set to make her childhood dream a reality. She will be blasting off into space, the second French woman to step foot on the International Space Station. Jennifer Ben-Brahim and our colleagues at France Télévisions caught up with her virtually as she continues her arduous training.
A star on the rise. French astronaut Sophie Adenot. At the Paris Air Show in Le Bourget, she revealed the name of her upcoming mission, called Epsilon, and its symbol, the hummingbird, to the delight of French President Emmanuel Macron.
We are, as we have been since day one, extremely proud.
Sophie has been training in the US for the past 18 months, ahead of her voyage to the International Space Station. She told us over Zoom that she had actually designed the patch for the mission.
It's incredibly emotional simply because ever since I was a kid, I've always looked at and paid close attention to these mission patches. They inspired me, motivated me, and guided me on my path. So there's a lot of emotion now, even just talking about it.
The 42-year-old aeronautical engineer, who was the first French woman to become a helicopter test pilot, has had to go through some out-of-this-world challenges. From physical tests like survival training, high-speed spins, and pool tests, as well as parabolic flights to simulate weightlessness.
We push the body to its limits deliberately to reach the edge of our comfort zones in order to progress faster and evolve. But really, this is such an incredible adventure, and I've dreamed of it since I was a little girl. So it's very rare that I find myself struggling or not smiling.
She shares this enthusiasm for space on her social media, with a touch of humour. From celebrating getting her spacewalk certification, to demonstrating that astronauts need to be a jack of all trades.
At home, when there's plumbing stuff or electrical work to be done, I'm always the first one trying to tinker with it all. Everything is so surprising, actually. Every day it's like, wow, what's happening to me? And it really makes you want to share it, to share the good vibes that come with it.
Sophie, who once had a rocket poster on her bedroom wall, will become the second French woman in space next spring.
And that's it for this edition. So until our next show, bye for now.